How did one hidden phone turn into a public moment where a clerk handed me papers and my husband didn't even look at me? I thought blocking me was just a tantrum. Why did it feel like he had been preparing for months while I was busy calling him controlling? My name is Ottilie Baird, and I always said I was a loyal wife. I said I worked hard, I kept the house running, and I gave Ethan stability. That was my story. I repeated it so many times that it sounded true in my own head. Ethan was my husband, and he was the kind of man who liked rules. He liked plans. He liked quiet. When I wanted warmth, he offered schedules. When I wanted a spark, he offered a list. I told myself I was not asking for too much. I told myself he was the one who failed first. We lived in a small house that looked clean from the street. Inside, it felt like a showroom. Ethan kept the kitchen counters empty and the fridge organized. He liked labels. He even had a folder on the counter that said, household. I used to roll my eyes and call it his little control book. He asked me to stop mocking him. I said I was only joking. He said jokes could still hurt. I said he was too sensitive. That was my usual move. I pushed, then I acted confused when he reacted. At my office, people loved me. I knew how to smile at the right time. I knew how to sound busy. I worked in marketing for a tech company, and I knew how to shape a message. My friend Nora sat near me in the open plan space. She watched everything and turned it into gossip. When I said Ethan was being difficult at home, Nora asked what he did. I told her he tracked my time and questioned my choices. She said that sounded controlling. I did not correct her. I let that word sit on the desk between us like a gift. That week, Mason Reed started texting me more. He was a sales rep who traveled a lot, and he had that smooth energy that felt like air after years in a tight room. He acted like every small thing I said was interesting. He asked what I wanted in life. I said I wanted to feel seen. He said I deserved to be seen. I did not say I was married at first. When I finally said it, he asked if I was happy. I said I was not sure. That was a lie and also not a lie. I was not happy in the way I wanted. At home, Ethan noticed my phone more than my face. He asked why I smiled at my screen and not at him. I said it was work. He asked why I carried my phone into every room. I said I had to stay reachable. He asked if I could put it down during dinner. I said he was treating me like a child. He looked tired after that. He did not shout. He never shouted. That was the problem. I wanted a loud moment, because loud moments make clear villains. Quiet moments make me look like the villain, and I hated that. One morning, I went to the gym before work. In the locker area, I sat on a bench and stared at my phone. Mason had sent a message that made me feel chosen. I knew I was taking a risk. I also felt proud of myself, like I had finally done something for me. Then I saw Ethan's name pop up on my screen. He asked if I could pick up milk on the way home. The message was normal and kind. It made me angry for no reason. It made me feel trapped. I wrote back that I was busy and he should handle it. I told myself he should be more independent. That afternoon, I bought a cheap prepaid phone on my lunch break. I told myself it was smart. I said I needed a backup for emergencies. I said it was for work projects and contacts. I said anything except the real reason. The real reason was that I wanted Mason without consequences. I wanted a private door that Ethan could not open. I paid in a way that felt secret, and I tucked the small box into my tote like it was nothing. When I got home, Ethan was in the kitchen. He asked how my day was. I said it was exhausting. He asked if I needed help with dinner. I said I could handle it. He watched me move around the room like I was a stranger. I could feel his eyes follow my hands. I wanted to accuse him first, so he could not accuse me. I asked why he was staring. He said he was not staring, he was just looking at me. I told him that was the same thing. He asked what I meant. I said he always watched me like he expected me to fail. After dinner, I went upstairs and hid the new phone in my dresser. I pushed it under a thick sweater I never wore. I told myself it was safe there. I told myself Ethan did not go through my things. Then I remembered how neat his side of the room was, and how often he cleaned. The thought made my heart beat faster. Still, I did not stop. I plugged the phone in for a minute, then I unplugged it and turned it off. I felt clever. I felt in control. Later, I called my sister Danny and told her Ethan was being weird. She asked what he did. I said he acted like my boss at home. She said I should not live like that. She said men like that only got worse. I liked hearing that. It gave my choices a reason. It made my affair feel like a rescue, not a betrayal. Danny asked if I ever thought about leaving. I said I did not want to blow up my life. I just wanted Ethan to stop being so intense. Danny said I deserved fun. I agreed too quickly. That night, Ethan came into the bedroom while I folded laundry. He asked if I wanted to plan a weekend with Lila. He said Lila wanted to go to the park and then get hot chocolate. He said it like he was offering peace. I said he only did sweet things when he felt guilty. He asked what he should feel guilty about. I said he knew what he did. He looked confused. He asked me to explain. I said I did not have the energy to teach him empathy. That line felt powerful in my mouth. It was also empty. Ethan went to the hallway and came back with his phone in his hand. He said his calendar was full next week because of work. He asked if we could choose a day that fit. I saw a reminder on his screen for a second. It said, meeting and personal. It had a time and a place. I did not ask. I just felt annoyed that he had a private thing too. I told him he always had time for his own plans, but not for mine. He said he was trying to plan with me right now. I said planning was not love. I went to the bathroom and locked the door. I stared at my reflection and practiced a face that looked tired and wronged. I told myself I was a good person in a hard marriage. I told myself Ethan made me lonely. I told myself loneliness was a reason. In the silence, I heard a soft beep from Ethan's phone in the bedroom, like a recording app starting and stopping, but I could not be sure. I unlocked the door and walked back out like nothing happened. I got into bed and turned my back to him. When the lights went off, I reached into the dresser and touched the hidden phone through the sweater. It felt like a secret heartbeat. I told myself I was finally taking care of myself. I told myself Ethan would never understand me anyway. Then the hidden phone buzzed once, small and sharp, and I smiled into the dark. By morning, that small buzz felt like proof that I still mattered to someone. I made coffee and moved around the kitchen like I owned the air. Ethan was already up. He had his mug on the far side of the counter, like a line between us. He asked if I slept well. I said I was fine. He asked if I seemed stressed. I said he was always looking for problems. He looked down at his phone and tapped something, then put it away. At the office, I walked in with my normal face. I wore a clean blazer, like I was a serious person with serious reasons. Nora watched me sit down. She asked why I looked excited and angry at the same time. I said, marriage did that to people. She asked if Ethan was still on my case. I told her he counted my minutes and questioned my friends. That was not fully true, but it sounded true enough. Nora's eyes got big, like I gave her a gift. Mason texted the secret phone while I pretended to work. I kept it in my tote under a notebook. I felt bold because it was hidden. He asked if I missed him. I said I did. He asked when we could meet. I said my husband watched my schedule. That was a lie, but I needed Mason to see me as trapped and brave, not careless and selfish. He said I deserved someone who trusted me. I liked that line because it turned my deception into a test Ethan failed. Around lunch, I opened my personal social account. I didn't post anything direct. I posted a quote about walking on eggshells. I added a calm selfie with tired eyes. I knew what I was doing. I wanted people to ask questions. I wanted attention without facts. When coworkers saw it, they would fill in the story for me. Later, Ethan sent a message asking if I could come home on time for Lila's homework. I read it and felt annoyed, like he was stealing my evening. I answered that I would try. I didn't say yes, I didn't say no. I liked leaving things unclear because then I could claim I tried. After work, I went to my sister Danny's townhouse. She had music on and candles lit, like she lived inside a trend. She asked how things were. I said Ethan was suffocating me. She asked what he did now. I said he watched my phone and acted jealous. Danny rolled her eyes. She said men like Ethan only respected fear. She said I needed to take my power back. I told her about the secret phone in a soft voice, like it was a brave confession. Danny smiled like I joined a club. She asked if it was serious with Mason. I said it wasn't about Mason, it was about me. That was my favorite excuse. Danny asked if Ethan would ever leave me. I said he wouldn't. I said he needed me too much. I said it with confidence, but I also felt relief saying it out loud. It made me feel safe. Danny suggested a night out on Friday with her friends, plus a couple people from my office. She said I should come and let Ethan see what he is losing. I said Ethan would act weird. She said that was the point. She said if he embarrassed himself, everyone would understand me. I liked the sound of that. I liked having a plan where Ethan was the problem. Friday came fast. At home, Ethan asked what time I would be back. I said I didn't know. He asked if it was a work thing. I said it was just friends. He asked if he should stay up. I said he didn't need to wait for me like a sad dog. He flinched a little. He asked why I spoke like that. I said I was joking, and he was proving my point by being sensitive. He offered to drive me, which felt like a trap. I said I would take my own car. He asked if I had been drinking lately. I said he was policing me. He said he was asking because he cared. I said care didn't feel like a checklist. At the rooftop bar, the air was cold and the lights were warm. Danny's friends were loud. Nora came too, which made me feel seen. I told them Ethan was going through something. I didn't say I was cheating. I didn't say I lied. I said Ethan was emotionally intense. I said he made me feel small. Nora asked if he ever yelled. I said he didn't need to. I said his silence was worse. People nodded like I said something deep. Mason showed up later, like he was a surprise I pretended not to expect. He asked if I was okay. I said marriage was heavy. He said I looked beautiful anyway. I kept my face calm, like it wasn't a big deal. Inside, I felt proud. I wanted the room to notice without me admitting it. I took a photo with Danny and Nora. The city was behind us like a movie. I let Mason stand close enough that his hand showed near my waist in the edge of the frame. I knew what I was doing. I wanted evidence that I had options. I wanted Ethan to feel replaceable. When I got home later, Ethan was awake in the living room. The lamp was on. He asked if I had fun. I said yes. He asked why I smelled like smoke. I said it was the patio. He asked who was there. I said friends. He asked if Mason was there. My stomach jumped. I asked why he would say that. He said he saw a name pop up on my phone earlier in the week when it lit up on the counter. I told him he was spying. He said he wasn't spying, he just saw it. I said he was making things up because he was insecure. He asked if I could sit and talk. I said I was tired. He asked if something was wrong between us. I said the problem was that he always needed a talk. He asked if I wanted counseling. I said he only wanted counseling so a stranger could agree with him. He went quiet again. I hated that quiet. It made me feel like I was shouting into a clean wall. In bed, I checked the secret phone and smiled at Mason's message. I told myself Ethan pushed me to this. I told myself I didn't owe Ethan full truth when he didn't give me full happiness. Then my regular phone buzzed. I saw a notification that I had been tagged in a photo from the rooftop bar. I opened it and felt my breath catch because Mason's hand was there, clear enough for anyone to notice. On Saturday morning, I woke up with that rooftop photo still burning in my mind. It was not even a kiss or anything like that. It was just a hand, just a hint. But hints are louder than facts online. I stared at the tag again and again, like I could change it by looking harder. My first thought was not guilt. My first thought was control. I needed the story to stay mine. Ethan was already up. He had made pancakes for Lila, and the kitchen smelled sweet. Lila sat on her booster seat and swung her legs. She asked if I wanted pancakes too. I said I might later. Ethan asked if I slept okay. I said yes. He looked at my phone on the counter and then looked away, like he didn't want to start something in front of Lila. I told myself he was acting like a saint for an audience. That was how I protected myself. If he did something kind, I called it fake. If he did something cold, I called it abusive. Either way, I won. In my head, I always won. After breakfast, Ethan asked if we could talk for 10 minutes while Lila watched cartoons. I said I had errands. He asked what errands. I said it didn't matter. He said it mattered if we were planning the day. I said he was trying to trap me into explaining every breath. He asked why I fought him on simple things. I said simple things were never simple with him. He didn't raise his voice. He just stared at the floor for a second, like he was counting to keep calm. I went upstairs and grabbed my tote. The secret phone was inside, wrapped in a small scarf so it wouldn't buzz loudly. I told myself it was smart. I told myself everyone had secrets. I told myself Ethan probably had secrets too. I had no proof of that, but I didn't need proof. I needed balance. If I could believe he was also hiding something, then my hiding felt fair. At the supermarket, I moved through the aisles fast. I kept checking my regular phone. The rooftop photo had a few new likes and comments. Nora had commented a flame emoji under it. Danny had commented that I looked alive. I felt proud, then scared, then proud again. Those feelings were messy, so I chose the clean one, proud. At checkout, I saw a message from Ethan asking what time I would be home. I didn't answer right away. I wanted him to feel unsure. Then my secret phone buzzed inside my tote. Mason asked if I was okay after last night. I said Ethan was being difficult. Mason asked if Ethan saw the photo. I said maybe. Mason said I should be careful. I didn't like that. It sounded like Mason wanted the fun without the risk. I told him I could handle my own life. When I got home, Ethan was in the hallway, wiping Lila's hands. He had a towel in one hand and a calm face. He asked if I could help Lila with reading later. I said yes, if he stopped treating me like a schedule. He asked what that meant. I said it meant he didn't trust me. He said trust wasn't a switch, it was built. I said he didn't build it, he demanded it. He nodded once, slowly, like he heard me, but didn't accept it. That afternoon, we went to Lila's little dance class recital at a community room near the school. It was small and cute. Parents sat in folding chairs and held phones up. I dressed nicely because people would see me. Ethan wore a plain sweater and sat with his hands folded. Lila waved at us from the line of kids. Ethan smiled, and it was real. I felt a sharp sting of something I didn't want to name, so I turned it into annoyance. I told myself he was performing again. After the recital, parents gathered near the exit. Tessa, the neighbor mum, came over and said Lila did great. She glanced at Ethan and then at me. I could tell she had seen the rooftop tag. People always act friendly when they want details. I decided to speak first. I joked that Ethan was so strict he probably timed the dance steps. Ethan looked at me, not angry, just tired. Tessa laughed, and I liked that. I liked the laugh because it put Ethan below me in the moment. On the drive home, Ethan asked why I embarrassed him. I said I didn't. I said he was too serious and people didn't like that. He asked if I wanted people to like him or to laugh at him. I said it was the same thing. He said it wasn't. I stared out the window and said he was making a big deal out of nothing. He took a breath and said he didn't want to fight in front of Lila. I said fine, and I felt like I won again. That night, after Lila went to bed, Ethan asked if I would stop posting things that made us look broken. He asked if I could keep our marriage private. I said he didn't get to tell me what to post. He asked if I wanted to be married at all. I said he was threatening me. He said he wasn't threatening. He was asking. I said questions could still be threats. He went quiet again. I took my regular phone and walked around the house while talking, like motion could hide lies. I told him he had changed. I told him he didn't touch me anymore, and then acted shocked that I felt lonely. He said he still tried. He said I pushed him away and mocked him when he tried. I said he was rewriting history. He said he remembered clearly. I said memory was not proof. He said some things were proof because phones kept records. My stomach tightened when he said that, but I kept my face calm. Later, I went to the bedroom and acted like everything was normal. I took a shower. I brushed my hair. I put lotion on my hands slowly, like I was peaceful. Ethan was in the room folding towels with neat corners. He didn't look at me much. That should have made me worried. Instead, I told myself he was sulking, and I was strong for not chasing him. When I got into bed, I placed my regular phone on the charger in the hallway charging station, like Ethan liked. Then I slipped the secret phone into my nightstand, under a book. I told myself I was safe because Ethan respected privacy. I told myself I could handle 2 lives. I texted Mason goodnight. He replied fast, but his message felt shorter than usual. I fell asleep with my back to Ethan. At some point in the night, I half woke up and heard a soft click, like a drawer being opened carefully and closed again. I thought it was nothing. I thought it was the house settling. I thought my secrets were too small to be seen. In the morning, my eyes opened to bright light and a strange quiet. Ethan was already dressed. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't angry. He looked calm in a way that didn't match anything. I reached for my regular phone and saw a missed call. I reached for the secret phone and my fingers froze, because the screen showed a row of failed messages, and Mason's name was gone like he had never existed. The first thing I did was tell myself it was a mistake. I told myself the phone glitched. I told myself Mason's account was down. I pressed the screen again and again, like pressure could bring him back. It didn't. My messages stayed stuck, and the contact line looked empty, like someone erased a pencil mark. Ethan walked past the bedroom door with a steady step. He didn't ask what I was doing. He didn't ask why my face looked pale. He went downstairs and started the day like a man who already decided something. I followed him into the kitchen, holding the secret phone low, like it was a broken toy. I asked what he did. He asked what I meant. I said my phone wasn't working. He said phones sometimes didn't work. I said he knew what I meant. He asked if I wanted coffee. That made my throat tighten. I said I didn't want coffee, I wanted answers. He said he didn't want to talk in front of Lila. I said Lila wasn't even awake yet. He said she would be soon. He said he wasn't doing this in the morning anymore. Lila came in wearing pajama pants and a messy ponytail. She asked if we were going to the park. Ethan said they could go later if homework was done. I said we might be busy. Lila asked why my voice sounded tight. I said I was just tired. Ethan didn't correct me. That was new. He used to defend me in front of her, even when I was wrong. Now he just let my words sit there. After breakfast, Ethan put on his jacket. He said he was taking Lila to the library, and then to his parents for lunch. I asked why he didn't tell me first. He said he did tell me last week when he put it on the shared calendar. I said I didn't see it. He said he wasn't surprised. I asked if he was punishing me. He said he was keeping plans simple. I asked if I could come. He said I could if I was calm. I said I was always calm. He looked at me for a second, like he was watching a video in his head, and then he said he would message the address. When they left, the house felt too quiet. I walked through the rooms like I was checking for hidden cameras, even though I knew that was dramatic. I opened my dresser and stared at the sweater where I used to hide the secret phone. My stomach turned. I hated that a small object could ruin me. I also hated Ethan for not exploding. I wanted him to slam a door. I wanted him to shout. I wanted proof that he was cruel so I could feel innocent. I called Danny. I told her Ethan did something crazy. She asked what he did. I said he invaded my privacy and messed with my phone. She asked if he found out about Mason. I said he didn't have proof. Danny said men always found proof. I said Ethan wasn't that smart. The second I said it, I regretted it. Ethan was smart. He just wasn't flashy. Danny told me to act like the victim because people believe tears. I said I didn't need tricks. Then I used the trick anyway. I drove to the supermarket, mostly to feel normal. At checkout, I used our joint card like I always did. It declined. The beep sounded loud. The cashier asked if I had another method. I laughed too hard and said the bank was probably acting up. I used my personal card and felt heat in my face. On the way out, I checked my phone. I saw a new message from Ethan. He said he moved some money to cover bills and set a weekly grocery amount, and if I needed more, I could ask in writing. He used those words, in writing. It felt cold. I told myself it was financial control. I didn't tell myself the other truth, which was that I broke trust first. At the school pickup line on Monday, I got there 5 minutes late. Ethan was already there, parked straight, like he always did. Lila ran to him first. She hugged his waist and showed him a paper from class. I walked up and said hello like nothing changed. Ethan nodded and asked if I brought her snack. I said he could do it. He said he already did. He didn't smile. He didn't glare. He just stayed neutral, like a wall. Tessa, the neighbor mum, stood nearby with her phone in her hand. She asked how things were at home. I said marriage was hard when one person wanted control. I didn't say the word Ethan, but I aimed it at him with my eyes. Tessa's mouth tightened in a way that looked like sympathy. That gave me a rush. I kept going. I said Ethan had been shutting me out and acting punishing. Ethan didn't respond. He looked down at Lila's backpack straps and fixed one that was twisted. That quiet kindness made me look mean, but I refused to see it that way. I told myself he was acting for the crowd. At home, I tried to corner him in the hallway. I asked why he blocked Mason from my secret phone. He paused. He asked how I knew the phone was blocked. I said I just knew. He said he didn't touch my accounts. He said he didn't need to. He said Mason could block me on his own. My chest felt hollow for a second. I hated Mason then, because hate is easier than shame. I said Ethan was lying to make me feel crazy. Ethan said he wasn't interested in making me feel anything. He said he was interested in keeping the house quiet for Lila. He said if I wanted to talk, I could send a message and he would answer when he could. I asked why he was acting like my manager. He said I trained him to speak that way because every talk turned into a fight. That weekend, Ethan's parents invited us to the family restaurant they loved, the one with long tables and bright lights. Ethan said he would go for an hour, for Lila. I said I would go too because I wouldn't be left out. At the table, Maris didn't hug me. She asked if I wanted water. Her voice was polite but thin. Graham nodded at me like I was a co-worker. During dinner, I tried to make a joke about Ethan being so strict he probably schedules bathroom breaks. A few people laughed, but it wasn't the same as before. Maris didn't laugh at all. She looked at Ethan and asked if he was okay. Ethan said he was fine and asked her to pass the bread. Graham said something about people needing respect at home. I asked what he meant. Graham said he meant what he said. On the drive back, Ethan didn't accuse me. He didn't insult me. He just said he wanted the next weeks to be calm and clear. He said he would not argue in front of Lila anymore. I said he was acting like I was dangerous. He said he was acting like he had responsibilities. When we got home, I smelled something faint, like toner or warm paper. I looked toward the office nook and saw the printer light blink. Ethan asked if I needed anything before bed. I said I needed my life back. He said I should have thought about that earlier. Then he went upstairs and closed the door to the guest room, softly, like he did not want a scene. I told myself I could still fix it if I moved fast. That was my pattern. I made a mess, then I tried to clean it with performance. Ethan was acting like a stranger in my house, and that felt illegal in my mind, even if it wasn't. He slept in the guest room now. The door clicked shut every night with a calm sound that made me want to scream. On Monday, I went to work earlier than usual. I wanted to look productive. I wanted witnesses to say I was steady. Nora asked why I looked pale. I said Ethan was being cruel. She asked what he did. I said he froze me out and limited money like I was a child. Nora said that sounded abusive. I nodded like I had been waiting for that word. I did not mention the secret phone. I did not mention Mason. I kept the story clean. During lunch, I sat in my car in the parking garage and tried Mason again. I tried the secret phone first. Nothing. I tried my regular phone. Nothing. I searched his name on apps and got empty space. It felt like he erased me. For a second, I saw the truth. Mason was never brave. He wanted a fantasy where I did all the risk. Then I pushed that thought away and replaced it with anger at Ethan. If I blamed Ethan, I stayed strong. I drove to Danny's townhouse after work. She opened the door with a smirk, like she expected drama. I told her Ethan was planning something. Danny asked if he said anything. I said no, and that was what scared me. She asked if I could get proof of what he was doing. I said he hid his phone and kept folders. Danny suggested I check his laptop. I said he probably had passwords. She said I should stop being soft. I did not like being called soft, so I pretended I would do it. Back at home, I tried to act normal in front of Lila. I helped her with a spelling list. Ethan sat at the other end of the table and worked on something, quiet and focused. Lila asked why Dad didn't laugh much anymore. I said he was stressed from work. Ethan looked up and said he was fine. His voice was calm, but it sounded final. After Lila went to bed, I went to the kitchen and leaned on the counter like I was the reasonable one. I told Ethan we needed a real talk. He asked what topic. I said our marriage, my feelings, his coldness. He asked if I wanted to talk about Mason. I felt my face change. I asked why he kept saying that name. He said he wasn't guessing anymore. He said he knew enough. I asked what he knew. He said he knew I had a secret phone. He said he knew I used it at night. He said he knew I lied to his face. I laughed, sharp and fake. I said he was making stories. He said I could keep pretending, but he wasn't going to argue. I said he was acting like a victim for sympathy. He said he didn't want sympathy. He said he wanted order. That word again. Order. I told him he cared more about order than love. He said love without honesty was just noise. I tried a softer angle. I said I felt lonely. I said he stopped seeing me. I said he never flirted. I said he made me feel like a roommate. Ethan listened without interrupting. That should have made me feel safe. Instead, it made me feel exposed, like my excuses had nowhere to land. When I finished, he asked if I wanted to take responsibility for cheating. I said I didn't cheat, I just talked. He asked if I thought he was stupid. I said no, I thought he was hurt and confused. He said he wasn't confused. The next day, at the school pickup line, I tried to win the crowd again. Tessa was there, and a few other parents were talking. I stood a little closer to them than usual, like I belonged. I sighed loudly and said I was doing everything alone. I said Ethan had checked out emotionally. A couple moms made sympathetic faces. I felt a small rush. Then Ethan arrived, on time, and greeted them politely. He didn't glare at me. He didn't correct me. He simply signed Lila out, took her backpack, and asked her about her day. Lila smiled at him. The other parents watched that, and their faces changed. People believe what they see, not what they hear. That weekend, the community holiday market was busy and loud. Phones were everywhere. Danny insisted we go as a family to show we were fine. I agreed because I wanted a stage. I wore a cute coat and held Lila's hand. Ethan walked beside us with calm steps. I tried to pull him into a photo. I said we should take a family picture. He asked why. I said because memories mattered. He said Lila could take a picture with me. I said it would look weird if he wasn't in it. He said it would look honest. I filmed short clips anyway. I panned the camera toward Ethan and said in a sweet voice that it was nice when he made time for us. I wanted that tone to suggest he normally didn't. Ethan looked at the camera and then away. He asked me to stop filming Lila without asking her. I said he was trying to control my phone again. He said he was trying to protect our child from being used. People nearby glanced over. I could feel the crowd's attention shift. That made me angry. At a stall selling ornaments, I pushed again. I said Ethan didn't touch me anymore, and I didn't know why he even stayed. Ethan didn't react. He simply said we would not discuss adult topics in public. I said he was embarrassed of me. He said he was embarrassed of my behavior. Danny stepped in and said Ethan was being dramatic. Ethan nodded like he heard her. Then he turned to Lila and asked if she wanted hot chocolate. Lila said yes. Ethan walked with her, calm and steady, away from my noise. That night at home, I tried to corner him in the kitchen. I demanded he unblock me, like an adult. Meaning I wanted him to return to fighting. I wanted the old pattern back because I knew how to win it. Ethan stood by the sink, rinsing a mug. 2 mugs sat apart on the counter, like the house itself took sides. I said he was punishing me. He said he was protecting himself. I said he was cold. He said he was done being pulled into chaos. I asked what he wanted. He dried his hands slowly and looked at me like I was a stranger he had studied enough. He said he would handle it properly. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He just said it, clean and calm, and I felt something drop in my stomach like a stone. My hands shook when I walked into the courthouse lobby. I told myself Ethan was being dramatic. I told myself he wanted to scare me into begging. He walked a step ahead, calm, like he was taking Lila to the dentist. We stood near a counter under lights. Ethan didn't touch me. He didn't even stand close. He nodded at a clerk when our name was called. The clerk asked me to confirm my identity. I said yes. The clerk slid a packet toward me and said I was being served. I stared at the top page and felt my throat close. It said divorce. It said temporary orders. It said we would follow a parenting schedule starting today. It said our messages would be through a written app or email only, about Lila only, and no late-night calls. It said the house rules would be clear until the next date. It said money would be limited to bills and a weekly amount, and anything extra would be documented. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to say he was controlling. But the words looked official, and everyone around us could see them in my hands. I asked Ethan if this was his revenge. He said it was his protection. I said he was trying to take my child. He said he was trying to keep Lila steady. I said we could talk at home. He said we had talked for months and I had chosen secrets. Then he held up his phone and showed the clerk a neat timeline. He didn't show everything, but it was enough. It listed dates I came home late, screenshots of my posts, the rooftop tag, and the night he found the second phone while I slept. The clerk didn't react much, just noted it. I felt heat in my face anyway. I reached for my secret phone out of habit. Mason was still gone. Ethan looked past me and asked the clerk where to confirm pickup time. The clerk said the schedule started today. Ethan nodded once, turned, and walked away without looking back.